To be joined by the Conservative Member of Parliament for Christchurch, Sir Christopher Chope. And there he is, who is backing Liz Truss. Christopher, good of you to find time for us. Thank you very much indeed. In your view, was Rishi's attack on Liz over taxation over the top, or as a fiscal Conservative, deep down, did you agree with him?
I think that it's good to have this debate. And he's attacked Liz for fantasy taxation, fairy tales. But I think that what he's proposing is a nightmare. It's a nightmare for the Conservative Party because we are the party of low taxes. We promised at the last election that we would keep taxes low. They're now at the highest they've ever been. And so I'm very surprised that Rishi is taking the line that he is, and that he should be joining the rest of us in the Conservative Party who want to reduce taxes. And Liz certainly wants to do that.
Interestingly, though, many independent observers of this debate have observed that your party's reputation, which saw you in power for so long, for low tax and low spending, is at the moment severely damaged. Liz isn't going to reverse that if she gets in, is she?
She is. She says that within a few weeks of becoming a leader of the party, there'll be an emergency budget, and then she will introduce reductions in tax. She will make it clear that the hike in corporation tax scheduled for next spring won't take place, and she will deal with the energy costs, the additional energy costs, which are pushing up the bills for ordinary householders. So she will reduce tax. And that's what we need. And actually, her policy on that is very much in line with a lot of what economists say, because they say that the last thing you should do in the sort of recession we're heading into now is to increase taxes and reduce investment and reduce people's living standards.
Yeah, no, and funnily enough, I don't disagree with that analysis until you get to the punchline that follows it, and that is you've also got to put your hand up, your candidate has to, and you as one of her leading backers, and say, but for the time being, that means that borrowing is going to increase. It's not going to be sound money tomorrow. We may have to wait a little while for that.
Well, I think her analysis on this is that, in a sense, what we've got is a lot of debt because of the COVID crisis. And she's drawing an analogy between that and war debt, war loans and so on. And she's saying that that should be separated off and get made long-term debt instead of being a burden on individuals as of now. So it would be a burden in the future, but it would be, because it's a one-off, once-in-a-generation event, it's reasonable to put that in long-term borrowing as a long-term debt.
She needs to make that clearer, though, doesn't it? Because that long grass that she wants to kick that debt into is growing very, very long. And Sunak is clear that whether it was generated by COVID or anything else, debt is debt.
Absolutely, debt is debt. And I think that we borrowed far too much, actually, and too much was wasted during the COVID crisis. But Liz will be, I think she already has made it clear that she thinks that these are unprecedented times, and what we need to get the economy back on track and to address the cost of living crisis is to reduce tax rather than increase tax. And indeed, when I saw Rishi just at the time of the budget, he was of the opinion that he supported reducing tax and reducing public expenditure. Now he seems to have taken a different view.
Well, fascinating analysis, and leave that one sitting there on the table for Conservative members of Parliament and indeed ultimately Conservative members to make.